Good morning, good morning, good evening, and good night. It all depends on where you're listening from. So today we got a lot to do. You know what I'm saying? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody doing well, you know what I'm saying? Chilling, good vibes, all that, all that. But anyway, today we have a video called Valve's new console and controller, Steam Machine and Steam Controller First Look. Video by Lunas Tech Tips. Let's go.
Valve dropped 3 absolute bombs today. The Steam Frame standalone VR headset, that's going to have to be a separate video. But this one focusing on the new Steam Machine and, yes, the wait is finally over, the 2026 edition Steam controller.
That's crazy. Like, if you a gamer and you game on a computer, I'm pretty sure like you heard of Steam. So they dropped the console and the controller. PS, PlayStation, and Xbox, but
Start with a little history. Over 10 years ago, Valve announced their first version of SteamOS, a Linux-based operating system that would free gamers from the shackles of Microsoft Windows. No, it was a total commercial flop. But instead of giving up on Steam machines, Valve doubled down, working with game developers on Linux-native ports of their games and with open-source developers on the Proton compatibility layer that makes their Steam Deck handheld out-of-the-box compatible with thousands of Steam games, even ones that only ever shipped on Windows. The Steam Deck is believed to have sold millions of units at this point, and no wonder given its great balance of solid gaming and outstanding affordability. But its mobile form factor has given it certain limitations and left gamers hungry for something more substantial. And well, here it is. I'm calling it the Lunchbox. 1, because it's substantial, like lunch. 2, because it's cube-shaped, like a box. And 3, because I think this thing is going to eat Xbox's lunch. Okay, that last one was a bit of a reach. But not as far as I'm reaching for this segue to our sponsor.
Hold up, RoveLab is having a sale, 60% off. They're easy to move, and they're easy to use, and super comfy.
What is this, bro?
But I got a little friend new now, a guy has gotta celebrate somehow.
Hear that? That's the sound of the holidays coming. Because if you spend over $100 at lttstore.com, you'll get a 1 in 10 chance of winning something big. You can win a pair of Sennheiser HD 550 headphones. Or if you're really lucky, you may be selected to win a brand new ROG Xbox Ally X. This is fun. But hurry, you only have until November 26th.
Right, so
Shop now at lttstore.com.
In what has become typical Valve fashion, they've been atypically open about the new Steam machine, giving us direct access to the engineering folks who worked on these devices. The only thing I didn't have today was time, so we're going to get through this as fast as we can. At the heart of the Steam machine is a 6-core AMD Zen 4-based CPU that turbos up to 4.8 GHz with 16 gigs of RAM and an 8 gig GPU that they compared to a 7600 XT-ish. But they were also quick to point out that it might not be apples to apples thanks to their custom software stack and power tuning. Basically, the goal was that pretty much anything on Steam should run at 4K 60 FPS if you're willing to turn down the details and use a little bit of FSR upscaling. And we saw that on display with Cyberpunk running in the demo
That don't sound half bad.
room at these settings. Valve says to expect about 6 times the performance of the Steam Deck. Now, I was a little surprised to not see an SoC with shared memory, but apparently the decision to go for discrete CPU and GPU came down to balancing cost, power, size, and performance, and also they just didn't feel like they needed to. And I guess Valve was right, because they nailed this thing. Compared to a more traditional ITX small form factor machine like the OG Steam machine reference design, you can see that it's a lot smaller. More on par with a highly integrated design like something like the Framework desktop. Investment disclosure. Like the Framework desktop, Valve allows customization of the front panel using these magnetic plates, and they're going to provide the CAD files so you can put whatever your heart desires on here. They even had a machine in the demo room with an e-ink display that was showing system vitals. Pretty darn cool. But unlike the Framework, it has a programmable RGB strip in the front that could be used to personalize your style or maybe show a progress bar while you switch your TV input and wait for your game to be downloaded. The sky's kind of the limit. The front of the device has a power button, micro SD slot, 2 USB 3 5 gigabit per second ports. Then the rest of the I/O is in the back, where you'll find 2 USB 2 Type A ports. Did
you say a micro SD slot? Hold on. Oh yeah.
USB-C 10 gigabit per second port, no display port on there, that is worth noting. Gigabit Ethernet, power in for the integrated power supply. Good gravy, this thing is compact. As well as an HDMI 2.0 and DisplayPort 1.4 port. It is worth noting that HDMI 2.0 port, they have tested it at HDMI 2.1 speeds, but there are a couple of features that are not implemented, so they can't call it HDMI 2.1. Also at the back, we have a large 120 millimeter cooling fan that draws air from both the intake on the...
That fan is most of the box. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, it ain't no way that's finna overheat. Not with that fan.
The bottom, it comes up through the power supply, as well as the large heatsink on the front. We're gonna crack this thing fully open in a sec, but first, I wanna talk about the Steam controller. No, not that Steam controller, the new one, with the exact same name. Before you ask, yes, I made my case to Valve that this is unnecessarily confusing. No.
That literally looked like the PlayStation controller, right? Literally did the fusion dance with the Xbox controller, and that's what we got. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying.
They're not going to change it. The good news is Valve learned a lot from the first Steam controller, and this appears to be their most complete offering ever. To be fair, the original was really cool. I mean, it made non-controller games finally playable from the couch, thanks to their innovative haptic touchpad. They also unlocked novel input schemes with gesture control or like swiping with momentum. But they also turned off a lot of folks due to their deficiency of traditional joysticks.
See, I don't know. It do feel a tad bit, let's say, unnecessary. However, I don't know. That's very interesting that they would use this as a controller. This looks crazy. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know what's going on with this controller right here. I don't know. No.
Well, that's solved now. The Steam controller is everything that is great about the controller on the Steam Deck, but usable when your Steam Deck is in docked mode, or with your Steam machine, or with any other PC, investment disclosure. On the surface, it offers up a conventional ABXY button layout with a PlayStation-style symmetric joystick design that will work seamlessly out of the box with basically any game. The trackpads have been repositioned to better accommodate the arm's natural position while holding a smaller device compared to the wider Steam Deck, and all of the usual Valve buttons are included. A Steam button for opening the menu, their quick access button for bringing up the SteamOS overlay, 4 rear programmable buttons, the face buttons are satisfying with a nice amount of resistance, and the D-pad has been tuned from the Steam Deck for better feel. It feels okay to me, but I only got a couple minutes with it before Valve blew my mind. The joysticks are next-generation TMR or tunneling magneto-resistant joysticks, boasting superior
I literally have no idea what that means.
accuracy and durability, even compared to Hall effect joysticks. And the controller has been designed from the ground up for a superior gyroscopic aiming or mousing experience with capacitive thumbsticks and even capacitive grips, so you can configure your gyro to enable or disable depending on whether you put your thumb on the stick or even by simply loosening your grip, say to recenter and then reactivate.
Maybe. I guess.
gyroscopic aiming.
I guess.
They had a great demo with Balatro showing how you can use the game's built-in controller compatibility, like a pleb, or, hear me out, trackpads with the right for movement and the left one split down the middle for left and right click. Or, hear me out again, gyro mouse using the face buttons for clicks. And if you don't care about gyro aiming, these capacitive inputs are all remappable as well, opening up a whole world of possibilities. Let's go even deeper. In addition to the haptic, texture-like feedback that you know and love from Valve's previous touchpads, the Steam controller has been upgraded with large rumble motors for better immersion and a large battery that they claim should be good for 35 hours in the most demanding applications, and even better if you don't need quite as much rumble. But I haven't even talked about the best part. If you've ever gamed over Bluetooth, you know that it can be inconsistent at best. Valve's solution? The puck. Every Steam controller comes with a wireless dongle that clips magnetically to the Steam controller using a couple of nice, strong alignment magnets. And it uses a proprietary 2.4 gigahertz wireless interface that Valve claims is good for about 8 milliseconds end-to-end latency and offers up superior resiliency when you're using multiple controllers. It allows 4 controllers per puck, so that's not as good as the Xbox dongle, which can do 8, but Valve has tested up to 4 pucks on a single system for a maximum of 16 players, meaning that you're probably going to run out of seats on your couch before you run out of controller compatibility. The last, chef kiss on top is an IR emitter that's cozied up beside the power LED to help you find your controller when you're in VR. I love it.
Nice,
now let's get back to the Steam machine who got naked while we were busy. Oh, you. While Valve's goal was to build something that is zero hassle, grab and game for the non-tinkerers, they really were laser focused on a console-like experience with quick suspend and resume.
From the size of it, it looks about as big as a GameCube, if y'all remember that.
And modern standby so that your games are already updated when you sit down to play. They also fully acknowledge that there are folks out there, guilty, who are tinkerers, and they've come up with an ingenious design for this thing that allows it to cater to both audiences. In advance, no, you're not going to be swapping out the BGA soldered.
But see, it almost looked like a red camera, like a Komodo, because of the box shape. It can't be too much bigger than that. Maybe the 8K one. I don't know about the 6K. I doubt that.
Processors. But
the fact that it's being that size, you can imagine how portable it's finna be, how easy the setup is, the compatibility that it's finna have. So okay, I could see why people would get it. But I don't know about that controller though right now. Cause if I'm gaming now, I'll do a little bit of PlayStation, but if I'm a game, I'm more than likely on the CPU. So
what you can do is upgrade the storage with next to no hassle to a 2230 or larger 2280 sized M.2 drive. And while we couldn't go that deep today, Valve also confirmed that the memory uses standard SODIMM slots. Finally, while Valve hasn't actually told iFixit that this product is coming yet, they did say that they're...
What game console, you're not opening up a PlayStation for real. You're not opening up an Xbox. Definitely not opening up no Switch. This is basically a small compact computer, literally.
Hoping to continue their partnership that they've had on the Steam Deck, making replacement parts available for end users. Awesome. Since we're in here, by the way, there are some really cool details that I'd love to highlight. The power supply, for one thing, is fully integrated to the point where it's actually part of the chassis, and the cooling solution pulls air directly through it, which avoids any need for it to have its own fan. The aforementioned Delta cooling fan is actually slightly thicker than the standard 25mm for extra static pressure, and it includes antenna mounts that are integrated into it, along with I/O mounts. Cool, right?
The fan is literally almost half of the box, like a third point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this right? Like, that's crazy.
Oh, this is actually a great look at the 4 antennas. So this is the back of the device where you have your 2 antennas for Wi-Fi 6E. Then if we flip it around to the front, we've got 1 antenna for Bluetooth peripherals and another one that is dedicated to your Steam controller or controllers. So that puck that's included with your controller is actually extra, and you could chuck it on another PC or next to your couch for charging. A major question mark, though, is of course price. Valve wasn't able to give any specific numbers due to rapidly evolving market conditions, but
Okay.
they will obviously have it nailed down when the Steam Machine launches in Q1 2026 alongside the new Steam controller. They did give me one hint though. They said that while they expect it to be very competitively priced with a PC, that it will be priced like a PC rather than like a console with games subsidizing the upfront hardware.
I was afraid of that. But I might have to skip. But it's so crazy how expensive the gaming stuff is starting to get, bro. And then the pieces you gotta get with it.
Purchase. They wouldn't say why, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's partially to avoid stepping on the margin opportunities of their potential partners for Steam games and Steam software, but also because they recognize that the Steam Machine is a full-fledged PC, capable of being used as a full-fledged PC. There's no guarantee then that say a corporate purchase of 10,000 of these things would result in a single game sale. So they really do need to protect the sustainability of their hardware business.
So basically, if I wanted to, I could get me a mouse, a keyboard, get an HDMI cord, and I could either use the internal or I could connect the USB-C to a drive. And I got a literal portable desktop. Or if you wanna like really get portable, get you a small screen, download an app to connect a tablet or something, and you like, bro, I don't know.
Another major question mark is
You might have got
where
me
the
with
heck
that.
is standalone SteamOS for custom PC builders? Well, we aren't going to get a formal SteamOS release for BYO hardware configurations anytime soon, but Valve has expanded the list of supported third-party devices, and they have supported installing the Steam Deck recovery image on AMD CPU and GPU systems for some time, and recently updated it to support their latest Zen 5 and RDNA 4 architecture processors. So nothing prevents you from building your own Steam machine and installing the software for free, though you will miss out on some things. HDMI CEC control, for instance, required Valve to build a custom motherboard in order to have your computer turn on alongside your AV receiver. And to get that on a BYO PC would require some serious cooperation between hardware makers that I don't know if we should hold our breath for. But the bulk of the experience should work pretty much out of the box. We may even get a release that supports a broader range of hardware in the future. But the vibe I'm picking up on around here is that it really depends on better support for Intel and especially NVIDIA GPUs. I'm also picking up this vibe to our sponsor.
What up?
Alright, well that's pretty much it for this video. I'm undecided. I'm really undecided on this one. Really undecided. But please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think down below. And we gonna keep it pushing.